Canada is a land of ice hockey and curling, but it turns out they have some pretty good outdoor stadiums as well. This league has a wide array of them, some big, some small, some sort of like medium. Anyway, here are the Canadian Premier League stadiums. Sitting on the shore of a body of water that looks like a river but isn't quite a river is TD Place Stadium, home of Atletico Ottawa. Just like football is a game of two halves, this is a stadium of two halves. On the northern side, the stand is a bit more old school, with a mostly concrete and steel exterior, and just more of a basic, straight edge look to it in general. Whereas over on the other side, we've got an ultra modern triple tiered curving stand. It does all come together nicely, however. Oh, and I have to mention that the northern stand does actually have a hockey arena underneath it. That does seem odd, but it's simply there to comply with the Canadian law, which stipulates that every Canadian citizen must be within a quarter-mile radius of a hockey rink at all times. Atco Field, Cavalry FC. That's a perfect name for the club because Atco Field is a venue for equestrian events that was modified and repurposed for football, which might not be ideal, but it certainly makes it unique. The main addition during the redevelopment of this stadium was this decent-sized grandstand that makes up most of the capacity. It's not perfect, there are pillars in your sightline, but it does the job. Oh, and in case you're wondering why they didn't just redevelop an actual football field elsewhere, instead of an equestrian venue, it is because the owners of the venue are the owners of the team. Tim Hortons Field, Forge FC. No horses here, although I'm a little suspicious of the Tim Hortons sausage egg muffin. Like TD Place, this is another CFL stadium. There are 3 in total, although its first task as a sports venue was to host football at the Pan Am Games. I'm talking about this football, to be clear. I can't say the S word because it's offensive towards soccer fans. Whoops. Anyway, they've kept the design fairly basic compared to the one in Ottawa. There isn't any covered seating, other than the suites and press boxes of course, but at least the capacity is made up of entirely chairback seats. They do kind of look like benches from a distance due to their colour, but no. Wanderers Grounds, Halifax Wanderers. Looking at the Wanderers logo, you could be mistaken for thinking that the club has some sort of Jewish connection, but the shape is in reference to this, the Halifax Citadel, which dates back to the days when the English and the French didn't really like each other. Now, of course, they are well, at least they're not killing each other anymore. Anyway, to the ground itself, it's pretty straightforward. Most of the capacity is coming from what looks like temporary stands that were brought in, and it's mostly bench seating, but it still looks like a nice place to watch football. Starlight Stadium, Pacific FC. Oh, Pacific. That must mean that this is the Pacific Ocean then. So I guess that's New Zealand over there? Wow. Flat Earthers were right. Nonsense aside, you are once more looking at aerial shots of what the stadium looked like a few years ago. You can probably see that they were getting ready to build some new stands, and this is what it looks like now. A pretty impressive upgrade. I love the extensive use of timber throughout, and when you combine that with those purple seats, mwah, Canadian chef's kiss. I believe they might be building a matching stand on the empty side if they need it down the line. IG Field, Vela FC. This is not only the biggest stadium in the league, but it's probably my favourite stadium in the country, for several reasons. Firstly, it's the wraparound brick exterior, which never gets old. Well, the concept of a brick exterior never gets old. The actual bricks themselves do abide by the laws of physics. Secondly, those distinctive wavy roofs are not only a sight to behold, but they also serve a useful purpose, sheltering spectators from the Winnipeg rain, hail and snow. Of course, the stadium has the other regular amenities that you'd expect from a fairly new venue, such as the large video boards and whatnot. Willoughby Community Park, Vancouver FC. This is yet another ground that started out as a humble sports field and has been transformed into an actual stadium. Well, it's still being built as we speak. It is just a flat-pack stadium from IKEA, I believe. So unless they lost the Allen key, it should be finished soon. York Lions Stadium, York United FC. As you might be able to tell, this stadium had a running track around the field at one point. It was, after all, originally built to host an athletics event, with the intention of later converting it into a rectangular stadium as they did, not all that long ago. Well, rectangular stadium is probably not the most accurate description. What they've done is got rid of the track and moved the field closer to the one and only stand. That stand, though, is kinda interesting. I'm not sure I've ever seen an upper deck that looks quite like that. It looks like a nice vantage point to watch the game from. So, there you have it. I like to pick a favourite at the end of the video, and I've sort of already shown my cards, if that's even a phrase. I have to go with distinctive, sophisticated, timeless, IG Field, a new fragrance by Paco Rabanne. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, have a good one.